Hey guys, let's start it off with Cannon Master Smythe. Now, Cannon Master Smythe is a 5-mana 4/4 legendary card for Paladin. Battlecry, transform your secrets into 3/3 soldiers. Then, when they die, you transform them back into the secrets that they were. Now, I don't think this card is good just due to the fact that we don't have much secret synergy. Everything that's been revealed so far that we'll go over in later videos isn't secret oriented. It's more Paladin has been given a lot of dude Paladin synergy, or they have been given a wide board like aggressive synergy, and then they're just throwing this random secret card in here that, yes, it's powerful. It just doesn't have any other supporting cards besides just playing secrets with him. And the secrets in Paladin have been known to be really weak, so I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Now, in Wild, we do have Mysterious Challenger, which is a 6-mana battle cry, and you play a copy of every secret in your deck. So if you can follow this up on the turn after you play Mysterious Challenger, he's gonna be a pretty strong swingy turn. But there's also the fact that usually you're playing Mysterious Challenger on turn 6, then your opponent attacks, whatever, it triggers like 3 of your secrets. Then you're only left with like 1 or 2 secrets. Sometimes you're left with none. So there's always that aspect. But if you are left over like 2 or 3 secrets after you play your Mysterious Challenger, well, then he does become a summon 3/3/3s along with his 4/4 body. So, and Wild, it might have implications, but Standard, I don't see anything that sets this card over the edge. So we're just going to go ahead and move on from it, honestly. So next we have Mordresh Fire Eye. Mordresh Fire Eye is pretty crazy card that I personally have high hopes for, and I think it's going to be fun to mess around with him. It's a 10 mana 10/10 battle cry. If you've dealt 10 damage with your hero power this game, deal 10 damage to all enemies. Now, the condition for the card is definitely kind of hard to pull off, but there are synergy cards that help it out. So now, base, I would say before you hit turn 10, Mage is going to hero power maybe like 4 turns, or 4 turns, 4 times to take him down to about 6. So what you're going to need is you're going to need ways to get those other like 6 ticks off consistently and consecutively enough to where you draw him and then you're able to play him and win the game. Now, he is going to probably be played in some control dot deck where you play the synergy cards to help you get those pings off and to get him down, but he's crazy. So in my mind, I kind of look at him almost like an ultimate infestation, a big 10 mana card that did what a lot of other cards done, all into one. So in my mind, when I look at this, it's a 10 mana 10/10, a big body, an AoE, and a Power Blast faced. So that's super strong. The fact that you get to clear their board, deal 10 damage to their face, and then the following turn they either have to spend mana to deal with your minion, or they can't deal with it and you're clocking another 10 in the face, that's already 20 damage. So this is going to be a really strong close out the board type of unit, and then that's just going to help you get into the late stages to win the game. Now, we do know that Arkan Amplifier is going to be back in the core set, which is a 3 mana 2/5, and your hero powers deal 2 extra damage. So if you could play him on 3, end up hero powering the next turn, playing a 2-drop beside it, that is going to deal 3 damage with your hero power and instantly take down your Mordresh 3 times. So that's pretty impressive, but the hard part is getting him to stick around. Now, he does have 5 health, so he might end up sticking around, or you could just play like turn 3, play him, or like wait till turn 5, play him, then hero power the same turn to help your Mordresh. Now, the next card we're going to talk about is also a Mordresh enabler, which has pretty decent stats, right? So we got Reckless Apprentice. Now, Reckless Apprentice is a 4 mana 3/5 battle cry. Fire your hero power at all enemies. Now, this is going to be a really staple card if you're running a Mordresh deck. Now, he is really good in the aspect that if you're playing against like a tempo slash aggro matchup, he's usually, I would say on turn 4, he might hit 2 minions and then he's going to hit 1 face. So this is also probably like another 3 tick, but maybe late game, right? Your opponent went really wide, or you can get like 7 ticks off of him, something crazy like that. Also, if your opponent does like a Gibberling thing, this is going to be really strong versus Gibberling if a Gibberling deck stays around for Druid. So I think this is a good card. Its stats aren't bad for its mana cost. It's kind of sticky, and then it helps you get Mordresh, and Mordresh is a card that wins the game. So We'll move on again. Now, Curtis Ashfallen, I like to call him Assfallen because, you know, Demon Hunter's ass. 4 mana 3/4. Battlecry, attack the left and right smoke enemy minions. Now, that's already decent because if you're going into the turn 4 play, right, your opponent probably has a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and then you're playing this guy. He's going to hit left, he's going to hit right. He has 4 health. Odds are you're probably going to take out that 2 and 3 cost minion for just 4 mana. Now, the part that pushes this card over the edge is definitely the Outcast immune this turn. Now, that gives you the same option to play him on turn 4, but instead of clearing the 2 minions and then having a clear board state, he's also sticking and gaining you tempo. So I think Curtis Ashfallen is a really strong card that's going to see play. Probably more of a mid-range. I don't know if he'd be played like absolutely in an aggro build, but if there's a mid-range / trying to control / big demon hunter, you might end up seeing Curtis Ashfallen make his rounds. Next, we got another demon hunter card, Fin Beastmaster. Now, Fin Beastmaster, 3 mana 3/3, Death Rattle. Summon a Death Rattle from your hand that costs 4 or less. The reason I don't like this card is because it relies solely on having the other Death Rattle in your hand. Now, if it said summon a Death Rattle that costs 4 or less from your deck, the card would be amazing. But the fact that it has to summon one from your hand gives it a restriction. Its stats are very basic, being a 3 mana 3/3, and the Death Rattles we have in the pool currently, especially for the 4 cost and under, aren't strong even in the slightest. So I don't see this being played at all. I don't think it'll be played unless we get some really good Death Rattle stuff that ends up like pushing Death Rattle Demon Hunter over the edge because you have some 2 mana Death Rattle draw 2 or something like that, then maybe. But with the current pool that we have from prior sets and what we've seen so far, it's not cutting the cake, baby. So next, we have a really good card in my opinion, Morshan Elite. Now, Morshan Elite is a 5 mana 4/4 taunt battlecry. If your hero attacked this turn, summon a copy of this. Now, the restriction, you kind of think at first glance, you're like, I have to attack, so I have to have a weapon and warrior. I don't know if I'll always get this off. But we have seen over the past couple expansions that, what's his name? Sword Eater. Boom. Yep, couldn't think of it. So Sword Eater is a 4 mana 2/5 taunt battlecry. You equip a 3/2 weapon. Now, that card comes down on 4 a lot because it's stably strong. You're getting a weapon. You're getting a taunt. Good against aggro. And like I said, over the past expansion since he's been out, he's been proven to be a super solid card. So now we have a follow-up to him where you play your Sword Eater. Now you have Morshan Elite, which is going to be a taunt battle cry. If you attacked, which you probably will attack because you have your 3/2 weapon, you're going to be able to summon 5 mana 8/8 in a sense, right? So it's kind of like a mid-range giant, and we know 5 mana giants are usually strong. 5 mana 8/8s have been proven again and again to be strong cards. Currently, we have the soul card for Warlock that you destroy a soul fragment in your deck. He becomes a 7/8. Well, this is pretty much better than that. Now, another thing to note about this card is it's very similar to Serenite Chain Gang. Now, Serenite Chain Gang also summons a copy of him, and what's good about it is if you can find a way to buff him, when you summon the copy's also going to be buffed. So if you make him like a 5 mana 6/6, you attack, then you're summoning 2 6/6s. It's also good with the card that we covered last video, Blademaster Samoro, right? So I did say Blademaster Samoro needed to be in a deck that had a lot of hand buff, right? Because the 1 mana Frenzy, deal 1 damage to everything isn't really amazing. But if you can find a way to hand buff him, then he might be doing like 3 damage, right? So then we're getting more of these hand buff cards that we might end up seeing like a hand buff warrior or something, but in the end, I think Morshan Elite, super strong card, going to be played. You're going to have to watch out for it. Let's move on here. So now we have Sigil of Flame. Sigil of Flame is a 2 mana sigil card. So sigil cards, we know we're going to be getting a couple of them. They're, in my mind, I look at them like quest, and the only thing you have to do is start your next turn. So you play it onto the board, your opponent sees it, your opponent can play around it, but they can't do anything to interact with it. Like, it's going to happen. So 2 mana at the start of your next turn, deal 3 damage to all minions. Now, we can kind of compare this to Doomsayer, because Doomsayer is a 2 mana 0/7 that at the start of your next turn, destroy all enemy minions. The difference is you're dealing 3 and destroying all. So Doomsayer has a better presence late game, right? But on turn 2 to 3, dealing 3 damage to all minions is pretty much going to kill everything. So you can think about it as that aspect. It helps you versus the aggro matchups. Then you could also play him like Doomsayer as a potential, hey, I don't have to deal with nothing on turn 3. Like if y'all are playing decks and you're dealing with his like turn 1, turn 2 plays, and then you throw this out on an empty board, then your opponent's like, I don't want to develop into this because I might lose everything. So in that aspect, I think the card is good, but I don't think the card has a lot of power or enough synergy at the moment to instantly see play, especially in Demon Hunter, where they're more focused on tempo, and this is more of a control style card. So we'll go ahead and move on from this one. So now we have Barak Koto Band. I like this card a lot. The only thing that's weird about it is Hunter's kind of going in a different direction from what it was. So Hunter in the past has usually always been, hey, I'm going face, hero power, get it done quick. So it kind of looks like with what they're coming out with that it's more of a board-centric control Hunter, which I won't mind, right? If it's good, it's good. If it's fun, it's fun. Now, we have a 5-mana 3/5, Battle Cry, draw a 1, 2, and 3 cost spell. Now, this is good just in the fact that it's a 5-mana 3/5, draw 3 cards, and it's targeted draw, so you can kind of know what you're going to get. We did have a 5/5 dragon that Battlecry drawed 1 card, and he wasn't a bad card, right? You didn't know what you were going to draw, but he wasn't a bad card. Like, you can slot him in if you just needed some draws, because Priest did it every now and then. Now, in this aspect, you're losing 2 attack, but you're drawing 2 more cards, and you know what you're drawing. So I'm thinking if there's maybe like a combo or really strong cards that you want to get into Hunter, that this card's going to be able to enable that. So in the draw 3 aspect, you're thinning your deck. You could have your 1-mana cards be like tracking, so you're thinning your deck more, or you're finding more cards in your deck to be able to use along with it. 2-mana, there's some decent spells. There is a rank spell that we'll talk about later that we can draw off of this that makes it a lot stronger. And then 3 cost spells, usually that's when you're getting into more bigger dangerous spell territory, so you can get like some powerhouses. We are losing some of the good 3 cost spells that Hunters had, so we'll just have to see what we get. But just a 5-mana draw 3 develop board is good, and with all the spells that you draw, it's a 3, 2, and a 1, so it gives you 6 mana worth of spells to play on the following turn. Now we'll just have to see what support we get for those spell values to see how good the card will be. Let's go ahead and move on here. Light Shower Elemental. I have super high hopes for this card. It is a priest card, so a lot of people are going to hate it, but I think it's crazy good. So we have a 6-mana, 6/6, taunt, death rattle, restore 8 health to all friendly characters. Now, I personally like to compare it to Convincing Infiltrator. And, my bad, Card 2 Defender. So Card 2 Defender is a 6-mana, 3/4, reborn, and each time it dies, you gain +3 health. Now, usually in the long run, what you're looking at is 5 health between 2 bodies, heal 6. Now, this is a 6/6, so it has more attack. It doesn't die on the initial deal 4, right? Because in the past, there's a lot of ways to deal 4 damage, so you can just kill the Kartut. And now that your opponent has to think, oh, I can't throw a big minion into this because it might die, is definitely something to be aware of. And then the healing 8, right? Because if you use Kartut Defender in a deck, you're doing it because you need healing. And healing 8 is better than healing 6. Who would have thought, right? And then the added benefit that if you do have other minions, you're healing them as well. So I think this is a really strong card. But Convincing Infiltrator, which I was talking about, I also like to compare it to that sometimes. Now, Convincing Infiltrator is 1 mana less, right? So it's a 5-mana 2/5, death rattle, destroy an enemy minion. So how I look at it is 1 more mana, right? But we're getting +1 health and we're getting +4 attack. Now with that +4 attack, a lot of things that attack into this are just going to die. And if we're looking at it as Convincing Infiltrator was death rattle, destroy an enemy minion, well, this is going to be, we're destroying an enemy minion anyways because we have enough attack to do so. And we're healing with the added benefit of, hey, this has taunt, so they have to get through it. So Light Shower Elemental, I think it's going to be a strong card. I wouldn't mind seeing more elemental synergies because we have some pretty cool elementals right now for Priest. We have the Bloody Gahoon, he's an elemental. We have this elemental. So if we get some cool elemental synergies, man, I wouldn't mind playing like an elemental Priest. That'd be sick. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. So now we have Horde Operative. Horde Operative is a 3 mana 3/4. A battle cry, copy your opponent's secrets and put them into play. This is good and bad. So the good part about it is it's very rare that we have Secret Disruption that has good stats for the cost. Or normally, even if it does have good stats for the cost, it's super high costed, right? So we had SI Infiltrator, which was a 5 mana 5/4 if I'm not mistaken, and it destroyed one enemy secret. And what felt bad about that is you were spending 5 mana to do it. The best one that we've ever had for Secret Disruption is Flare, and Flare's rotating in the new core set, so we're not going to be having access to Flare. So if we do see some secret deck popping up being good, we might be playing Horde Operative. But the only thing I don't like about the card is you're pretty much trying to break even with your opponent. So you were playing against Secret Mage, and they have like a counter spell, a mirror entity, something like that up, right? You're going to play your Horde Operative, you're going to copy their mirror entity, you're going to copy their counter spell, but they know what you have. So it's kind of like a 50-50. You're learning what they have, which is good because you know what to play around, but at the same time, your opponent also knows what they're playing around. So the secret pool in general gets worse, but I think the card is decent regardless. Now, the only thing is, what deck do you want to lose a slot to maybe beat a secret deck? You know what I mean? And I don't think there is going to be one. So that's the only problem with this card and secret cards in general, Disruption, is there's never a deck that wants to slot it. The only time we really saw Secret Disruption in Standard was with Flare, and that wasn't even much for the Secret Disruption. It was because, hey, I get to draw. And for that aspect alone, I think it might not be played. If we do get Highlander cards in the future, this might be a card to put into a Highlander deck because it's a 3 mana good stat. Might help you win the game. But as for a normal deck, I think you'd rather just play your game plan. Hope to win that way. So we'll move on to the next one. So here we have Condemn. It's a ranked spell. So as I said, the ranked spells rank up depending on your mana. So 1, 5, and 10 mana, they all rank up. And they still cost the same mana as they did. So we got Condemn rank 1. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Upgrades when you hit 5 mana. You're going to deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. And then once you hit 10 mana, you're upgraded to the final form, Super Saiyan 5. Deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Okay? Now, right off the bat, a 2 mana deal 1 isn't horrible. We've seen from cards like Maelstrom Portal, right? Yeah, pretty sure that's the Shaman card. And Spirit Lash, that 1 mana or 2 mana deal 1 damage to the entire board can be strong. Now, the card had other upsides to them, like you're healing or you're summoning a 1-cost minion. But the upside of this is even late game, if you're slotting this into a control deck, it can do more than just deal 1 damage. So I think Condemn personally is going to be a really good card, especially in Priest, which tend to have decks or synergies that hit you to the 10 mana crystal spot. So once you hit the 10 mana crystal spot and you're dealing 3 damage to all enemy minions, it becomes super strong, especially for only 2 mana. And even if you're at the 5 mana spot, we do know that Breath of the Infinite has been a good card throughout its life. The only thing that sucked about that is you had to be holding a dragon, but in this case, you don't have to hold a dragon and only deal 2 to enemy minions. So I think 1 through the max rank, this is going to be a strong card. I think it's going to be played, and only time will tell, and we'll see. Now, for the last card on our list, we have another ranked card. Now, Tame Beast. I like Tame Beast. So Tame Beast is a 2 mana, summon a 2/2 beast with Rush. Then you rank it up. You're going to get your 4/4 beast with Rush. Then you rank it up at 10 mana again. You're going to summon a 6/6 beast with Rush. Boom. Now, I think it's strong. Now, we did talk about Imp Swarm on the last video, and Imp Swarm I said wasn't that great because it's 2 mana do nothing, right? You're just summoning a 3/2 Imp. And in this case, you can do 2 mana 2/2 do nothing, right? But it also gives you the aspect of, hey, if you're playing against an aggro matchup, I now have a 2 mana 2/2 that can deal 2 damage. Like, I might lose my minion, but I'm still being able to rush in and control the board. And when we talked about the dude earlier that draws a 1, 2, and 3 cost spell, this might be the 2 cost spell you can get, because if you're playing him on 5, you're going to be drawing tracking as your 1 cost, and you're going to be drawing Tame Beast as your 2 cost. You're going to be on 6 mana. So this becomes a 2 mana 4/4 with Rush. So you're going to be able to track for something. You're going to develop a 4/4. Then you're going to play whatever 3 cost spell that you have. So in that aspect alone, I think Tame Beast is going to be really strong. And I definitely think it's better than Imp Swarm. I don't think it's better than Condemn, but I definitely like the card, and I think it's gonna see play somewhere. So let's backtrack, and I'll tell you if I think the card's trash. Time will tell, or if it's a good card. So I think Tame Beast is a good card. It's going to be played. Condemn, good card, going to be played. Only time will tell with this one, but from past experience, Secret Disruption, trash. Light Shower Elemental, going to be played in something. Barak, only time will tell. I think it's going to come down to if there's a deck that fits Barak, but I feel like if the deck does fit him, it's going to fit him so well that it's going to be like a tier 1 deck. Then we'll move on. Sigil of Flame, I don't think it's a good card just because in the past, Demon Hunter is not control or big demon oriented. Like, people tried to make it work, but it just won't. So in that aspect, I don't think one control card is going to help Demon Hunter become a control class. Morshan Elite, I'm not doing ratings yet, but 5-star card. This card's going to be nuts. It's going to be annoying to deal with, and it's definitely going to see a deck. Razor Fin Beastmaster, terrible card. I don't think it's going to see play at all. There's not much to say about that. It's not a good card. Then moving on, Curtis Ashfallen. I think he's going to see play. I don't think he'll see play in an aggro deck, but if we're playing a mid-range deck, then I think Ashfallen is a good way to clean up the board, get it going. Even in an aggro deck, he's not bad, right? Like, he's just one of your higher cost cards. You have like a couple 4-mana cards, 1 5-mana card, and this is one of those couple 4-mana cards just because that's such a potential upside. We'll move on. Reckless Apprentice, this is one of the cards that I think only time will tell, because this will only be super good if Mordresh is super good. Now, I'm pretty sure he's going to be crazy. I'm pretty sure you're going to be running your, like, hero power synergy cards with your Reckless Apprentice, your elemental guy, and then over time, by the time you hit 10 mana, you're going to be able to drop Mordresh. Mordresh is going to clear everything. You're going to have a big board. You're going to have a big guy. You're going to deal damage. You're going to be freaking Baba Booian, okay? It's nutty. It's nutty. It's nutty. It's going to be good. So then we'll move on to our last one, Cannon Master Smythe. Probably the least impressive legendary I've seen so far. I'm not impressed with it at all. I don't think it's going to be good unless we see some really strong secret stuff come in. Wild has potential, but standard, I don't think it's going to see play. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. The next video will be coming out soon. Have a great one.